Welcome fam! Before we dive into the story, please kindly subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share your thoughts below. I catch myself rehearsing conversations in the mirror again. Yes, Marcus had a wonderful presentation at school. Smile. Oh, the fundraiser? Of course he'll chair it again. Bigger smile.
Tom's promotion?
We're thrilled. The woman staring back at me has perfected the art of saying all the right things while feeling absolutely nothing. 15 years of marriage, and I've become a master ventriloquist, throwing my voice into a doll that looks like the woman I used to be. The forgotten library book sits on my granite countertop like an accusation. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Marcus checked it out 3 weeks ago, devoured it in 2 days, then promptly forgot its existence. Just like Tom forgot our anniversary dinner reservations. Just like I've forgotten what it feels like to be genuinely excited about anything. I should be grateful. Tom provides well, Marcus is thriving, and our Tudor Revival house sits perfectly landscaped in the best neighborhood. From the outside, we're the American dream realized. From the inside, we're 3 people who've learned to orbit each other without ever truly connecting. Sarah, have you seen my blue tie? Tom's voice drifts down from upstairs, the same tone he'd used to ask about missing socks or coffee filters. I locate the tie, deliver it with the efficiency of a well-trained assistant, and receive a distracted peck on the cheek in return. After they leave, Tom to his corner office, Marcus to his advanced placement classes, silence settles over the house like dust. I pour another cup of coffee and stand at the kitchen window, watching Mrs. Henderson walk her ancient golden retriever. Even her dog has more enthusiasm for the day than I do. The library book seems to pulse with guilt. Such a small thing, returning it. But somehow, the thought of that simple errand feels like the only authentic task on my endless to-do list. Maybe because it's the one thing nobody expects of me, the one thing that's just mine to handle. I grab my keys before I can change my mind. The rain starts as I pull into the library parking lot, October's first real storm, painting the world in shades of gray that match my mood. The building looks different in this weather. Warmer somehow, more inviting than the sterile efficiency of my usual haunts. Inside, the familiar scent of aged paper and quiet ambition wraps around me. I haven't been in a library in years, not since Marcus outgrew story time. The checkout desk sits empty except for a single man, maybe mid-50s, with salt and pepper hair and the kind of face that suggests he actually listens when people speak. Returning this for my son, I say, sliding the book across the counter with practiced politeness. He picks it up, examines the cover with genuine interest. Great choice. The Triwizard Tournament always gets them hooked. His voice carries warmth, like he's discussing something that actually matters. How did he like it? The question catches me off guard. When was the last time someone asked for my opinion about anything beyond scheduling and logistics? He loved it. Read it in 2 days, then moved on to the next obsession. I hear myself laughing, actually laughing for the first time in weeks. Sounds like a proper reader in the making. His eyes crinkle at the corners when he smiles. I'm David, by the way. Don't think I've seen you here before.
Sarah.
And no, it's been a while. Something about his unhurried attention makes me want to explain, to tell him about the woman I used to be who devoured books like oxygen. Instead, I say, we usually use the main branch downtown. The efficient choice. There's no judgment in his tone, just understanding. Sometimes the quieter spots have their own appeal, though. He processes the return with deliberate care, and I find myself studying his hands. No wedding ring, fingers stained with what looks like ink from an old-fashioned pen. When he looks up, I realize I've been staring. Actually, I hear myself saying, "Do you have any recommendations?" For someone who's forgotten how to read for pleasure. His face lights up with the kind of enthusiasm I haven't seen in my house in years. Now that, he says, is my favorite kind of question. I return 3 days later with a stack of perfectly valid reasons. I need to research venues for Marcus's school fundraiser, check out that cookbook David recommended, maybe browse the magazine section. All lies wrapped in the thin veneer of productivity that governs my life. The truth sits heavier in my chest. David asked me what I missed about reading, and I couldn't remember the last time someone had asked what I missed about anything. He's shelving returns in the fiction section when I find him, moving with the unhurried precision of someone who genuinely enjoys his work. The sight of him causes an unfamiliar flutter in my stomach, something I'd almost forgotten I was capable of feeling.
Sarah.
He says my name like he's been expecting me, like my presence here is the most natural thing in the world. How did you fare with the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo? I stayed up until 2 a.m. finishing it. I admit, then immediately feel foolish. When did I become someone who confesses weakness to near strangers? The mark of a perfect recommendation. His smile seems to see straight through my carefully constructed facade. What captivated you most? I should say something safe, the plot, the glamour, the historical details. Instead, I find myself saying, the way she reinvented herself, over and over. The way she refused to shrink into what people expected her to be. David goes very still, his eyes searching my face. That's not the answer most people give. What do most people say? Usually something about the romance or the old Hollywood setting. He sets down the books he's been shelving. But you saw the transformation story underneath. Heat rises in my cheeks. I've revealed too much, been too honest, shown too much of the woman hiding behind the perfect suburban facade. I should let you get back to work. Should you? The question hangs between us, weighted with something I'm not ready to name. Or would you like to see something special? Before I can overthink it, I nod. He leads me to a tucked-away corner I hadn't noticed before, where comfortable chairs sit beside a window overlooking a small garden. My secret reading nook, he says quietly, for patrons who look like they need somewhere to just be. The vulnerability in his words matches something raw in my chest. You make a habit of rescuing lost suburban wives? Just the interesting ones. Our eyes meet, and the silence stretches between us like a bridge I'm terrified to cross. 2 weeks pass in a blur of carefully planned errands that somehow always lead me to the library's quiet corner. David and I have developed an easy rhythm. Book discussions that drift into deeper conversations, comfortable silences punctuated by insights that surprise us both. Today feels different from the moment I walk in. David's organizing the poetry section, and there's something almost reverent about the way he handles each volume. Do you write? I ask, settling into what's become my usual chair. I did, once upon a time. His hands still on a collection of Neruda. Before life convinced me that practical dreams were the only ones worth pursuing. What changed? Marriage.
Divorce.
The slow realization that playing it safe is its own kind of death. He looks at me then, really looks at me. What about you, Sarah? What dreams did you trade for security? The question pierces something I've kept carefully buried. I wanted to teach. Literature. I had this fantasy of being the teacher who changed lives, who helped students discover themselves through books. What happened? Tom graduated law school. His career took off. Marcus came along. I shrug with practiced nonchalance. Life happened, And now, the simple question unravels something inside me. Now I spend my days scheduling other people's lives, managing other people's dreams, being the supporting character in everyone else's story. The words stick in my throat, too dangerous to speak aloud. David moves closer, settles in the chair across from me. Sarah. The way he says my name, like it means something, like I mean something, breaks whatever dam I've built around my heart. Tears I didn't know were their spillover, and I cover my face with shaking hands.
I'm sorry.
This isn't. But the words won't come because I don't know how to explain that his attention feels like sunlight after years of living in shadows. Hey. His voice is gentle, and then, impossibly, his hand covers mine. It's okay. The touch sends electricity through my entire body. Not just attraction, though that's there too, but recognition. This is what I've been starving for, to be seen, really seen, by someone who isn't trying to fix me or use me or shape me into something more convenient. I should pull away. Should remember that I'm married, that this is wrong, that good women don't feel this way about men who aren't their husbands. Instead, I turn my hand palm up, letting his fingers intertwine with mine. Sarah. His voice is rough now, uncertain. I don't want to complicate your life, but as I look into his eyes, I realize my life is already complicated by the growing certainty that what I feel in this moment is more real than anything I've felt in years. I don't come back for 5 days. I throw myself into the safe routines of my structured life. Volunteer meetings, grocery shopping, managing Marcus's schedule, pretending that the electricity I felt when David touched my hand was some kind of temporary madness. But my body betrays me. I catch myself staring at my hand, remembering the weight of his fingers. I dream about conversations we might have, books we might discuss. At dinner with my family, I feel like an actress who's forgotten her lines. Tom notices first. You seem distracted lately. Everything okay? Fine. I lie, passing the salad with practiced efficiency. Just tired. Marcus looks up from his phone. Mom, you've been weird all week. Like, more weird than usual.
From the mouths of babes.
Even my 16-year-old son can see that something fundamental has shifted in me. I return to the library on Thursday afternoon, my heart hammering against my ribs. David's alone at the circulation desk, and when he sees me, relief floods his features. I thought maybe he starts. We need to talk, I interrupt, surprising myself with my directness. He leads me to our corner, but I can't sit. Can't pretend this is just another casual conversation between friends. The words I've been rehearsing all week tumble out in a rush. I can't stop thinking about you. About the way you listen to me, really listen like what I have to say matters. About the way you see parts of me that I'd forgotten existed. I'm pacing now, years of suppressed honesty spilling out. I haven't felt this alive in 15 years, and it terrifies me because I'm married and I'm supposed to be happy with my life, and I don't know what that makes me. David watches me with those careful, kind eyes. When I finally stop talking, he's quiet for a long moment. It makes you human, he says finally. It makes you a woman who's been giving everyone else pieces of herself until there's nothing left for you. I can't have an affair. The words taste bitter. I'm not that person. I'm not asking you to be. He stands, moves closer, but doesn't touch me. But I'm also not going to pretend that what's happening between us isn't real. Then what do we do? I don't know. His honesty is devastating and comforting all at once. All I know is that I look forward to seeing you more than anything else in my week. That you make me remember who I used to be before I settled for less than I deserved. The admission hangs between us, honest and dangerous and beautiful. David, I whisper. I know, he says softly. I know. I sit in my car in the library parking lot for 20 minutes after our conversation, my hands trembling on the steering wheel. The drive home passes in a blur of stop signs and yellow lights, my mind spinning with everything David said and everything I couldn't say back. At home, I move through dinner preparations like a sleepwalker. Tom talks about his day, a new client, office politics, the usual concerns that once seemed so important. Marcus shares news about upcoming tests and weekend plans with friends. I respond appropriately, ask the right questions, play my role. But underneath it all, I'm burning. That night, after everyone's asleep, I sit at my kitchen island with a cup of tea I don't want and force myself to really examine my life. The house around me is beautiful, exactly what I thought I wanted at 27 when Tom and I bought it. The refrigerator is covered with Marcus's achievements, the calendar full of commitments that prove I'm a valuable member of my community. So, why do I feel like I'm suffocating? I pull out a notebook, something I haven't done in years, and begin to write. Not a to-do list or party planning notes, but actual thoughts. Feelings. The words that have been locked inside me for so long they taste foreign on the page. When did I become someone who asks permission to exist? When did I start measuring my worth by how efficiently I serve everyone else's needs? The questions pour out, page after page of suppressed truths. By the time I look up, dawn is creeping through the kitchen windows and I've filled 30 pages with a decade's worth of unspoken thoughts. Tom finds me there when he comes down for coffee, notebook still open in front of me. You're up early, he says, not really looking at me as he starts the machine. Couldn't sleep. Everything okay? The question is automatic, the same tone he'd used to ask about the weather. I look at my husband, really look at him. He's still handsome, still successful, still the man who seemed like such a prize when I was young and thought security meant happiness. But when did we stop seeing each other? When did we become polite strangers sharing a mortgage and a child? Tom, I say carefully, when was the last time we had a real conversation? He pauses, coffee mug halfway to his lips. What do you mean? I mean, when did we last talk about something that mattered? About dreams or fears or what we want from life? His laugh is uncomfortable. Sarah, it's 6:30 in the morning. Can we save the philosophical discussions for after coffee? And there it is. The dismissal I've grown so accustomed to that I'd stopped noticing it. The casual invalidation of anything deeper than logistics and surface-level pleasantries. For the first time in years, I don't apologize for wanting more. 3 months later, I'm a different person living in the same life, and the contradiction is becoming impossible to ignore. I've been back to the library exactly once since that final conversation with David, returning a stack of books that became my lifeline during the weeks when I thought I might drown in the weight of my own realizations. He wasn't there that day, and I told myself it was for the best. But the changes he awakened in me refused to be silenced. I've started teaching again, just a volunteer literacy program at the community center, but it's something. The way adult learners light up when a passage finally clicks reminds me why I fell in love with education in the first place. I've joined a book club where real discussion happens, where my opinions matter. I've even started writing again, just morning pages and half-formed poems, but it's mine. Tom notices, of course. Comments about how I seem different lately with a tone that suggests he's not entirely pleased with the changes. Our conversations have become more honest, more difficult. I've stopped automatically agreeing with him, stopped swallowing my thoughts to keep the peace. I think we should try counseling, I tell him over dinner one Thursday evening. Marcus looks up from his phone, sensing the shift in our usual dynamic. Counseling. Tom's fork pauses midway to his mouth.
Why? We're fine.
Are we? I meet his eyes across the table. When was the last time you asked me what I wanted? Really wanted, not just what flavor of ice cream or which restaurant for date night. Sarah, what's gotten into you lately? What's gotten into me is the memory of being seen, of having someone listen to my thoughts like they matter, treat my dreams like they're worth discussing. What's gotten into me is the realization that I've been settling for crumbs when I deserve a feast. I've remembered who I used to be, I say quietly, before I became everyone else's supporting character. The conversation that follows is painful, but necessary. We decide to try counseling, though Tom approaches it like another item on his to-do list. Marcus, wise beyond his years, just hugs me extra tight that night and says, "I like this version of you, Mom. You seem realer." I don't know if my marriage will survive this transformation. I don't know if David and I will ever have another conversation, or if what passed between us was just a catalyst for changes that were always meant to happen. What I do know is that I can't unknow what I've learned about myself. Can't unfeel what it's like to be genuinely seen and valued. Can't return to sleepwalking through a life that looks perfect from the outside while feeling empty within. The woman who walked into that library 6 months ago was drowning in her own silence. The woman I am now has found her voice, and she's not willing to whisper anymore. Sometimes the most profound revolutions begin with the smallest rebellions. Sometimes returning a simple library book can return you to yourself. What would you have done in her situation? Have you ever felt drawn towards something unexpected that made you question everything about your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if this story resonated with you, there are more like it waiting. Subscribe and hit the bell to never miss these thoughtful stories about the complexity of being a woman in today's world. Because sometimes the stories we're hesitant to share are the ones that matter most.